Well, it was another action-packed weekend at, Michael says, the Aaron's Dream Weekend. Well, it wasn't a dream for all of us because I was the top finisher. Here I am with my esteemed panelists. This guy's even a professional. We'll be back to view the weekend's race after this. Whew, that was tough. It was my first time.
Jr. scores a fourth straight win at Talladega. His Aaron's 499 victory secured with a somewhat controversial pass for the lead in the late laps. Secured after making some 17 pit stops during the day with repairs needed after the big one in the early laps. Hi, welcome to the How'd He Do That edition of NASCAR Inside Winston Cup. Alan Bestwick here in our Charlotte studios. Well, let me add this up here. Junior starts last Sunday after an engine change Sunday morning, right? Gets through most of the big 27-car wreck, mostly unscathed, makes 11 pit stops in that one caution for repairs, loses the draft, gets it back with a caution, runs to the front, survives the fierce jockeying in the late laps for the win. All in a day's work.
Yeah, I'm wore out already.
Sounds like a day. Here to review the Aaron's Dream Weekend now with our assembled expert panel. We welcome to the program Michael Waltrip, driver of the Napa Chevy for Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, Johnny Benson, driver of the Valvoline Pontiac for MBV Racing, and Kenny Wallace, driver of the Stacker 2 Dodge for Bill Davis Racing, sitting in for Schrader today. I don't know where Schrader is, but...
Probably in St. Louis somewhere.
But he's not here. You were running in the lead pack, and then you disappeared right as you came to the checkered flag.
Yes, it was very disappointing, but might I add, like Mikey Walter says all the time, I have a great team. Felipe Lopez and the guys figured out that I needed 3 seconds worth of gas, and it appears that I maybe needed 5 seconds worth of gas because I ran out of gas. When everybody's seen Jimmy Johnson come across my hood, I maybe went 200 more feet and I ran out of gas, and it was disappointing, but Mikey told me he read in a scripture somewhere last night that I should be joyful inside, and I'm finding it hard. I'm finding it very hard.
Don't let it rob you. Don't let a little gas, or the lack of a little gas, rob you of your joy.
Yeah, but I do have a great team. We've been running real good lately, so I can't ask for any more. I had a chance, and we just come up a wee bit short.
Finished 17th. Wonder if we've got a sponsor on the program that deals with that gas thing. We must somewhere. Johnny started 17th. Your day lasted all of 4 laps.
I couldn't even tell you how the Valvoline Pontiac was going to run. I never even run long enough. I can't say it was going to be good or bad. It just caught right in the middle, and just all you can do is 1, 2, 3. Just hold on, I got more coming. The guys asked me in the middle of that. He says, "You all right?" And I says, "Yeah." And then I got hit, and I said, "I'll get back with you." The guy says, "I got a lot more coming."
So are you all right?
Yeah, good, good.
Not hurt?
Not hurt.
Good.
No.
Glad to hear it.
Guys are easy on me.
Yeah.
All right, now you be nice.
We are being nice.
Mikey,
I told him I'm not mad.
Okay.
Mikey
You weren't
started
when you walked in.
16th and
Not to
finished
me.
24th.
Yeah, I got in a wreck. And after that big wreck, I missed that. I was real proud of the start we got. I was able to get up there fast enough to miss that wreck.
And here we see you taking a lead from
Middle
Old
line
Hearn
has
here.
no
Lap 20.
Oh.
You got the 23 up top with the help.
There's the 23 up top with the help, but here comes the old 15
I
right
don't have
around
no
the bottom.
help. I wanted to turn down so bad, Mikey, but I knew you were under me.
You don't have a whole lot of help.
So anyway, it was a good start, you know, getting by that wreck. And just on Saturday, the Aaron's car performed decent. We just didn't have any speed. It was kind of slow all day, and we wound up 7th. But we had enough gas to make it to the end. Those last couple of cautions hurt us. I think we could have got up to 2nd or 3rd if it had stayed out, because some of them were going to run out of gas.
Yeah. We will see what caused the premature end of Michael's day here in a little while. We've discussed it off camera already before the start of the show. That's what led to that whole joyful scripture
Yes.
thing. Okay. Here are the top 10 finishers from Sunday's Aaron's 499 at Talladega. Junior's 8th career win and first of 2003. Championship leader Matt Kenseth comes home with a 9th place run. Nice top 5 for Texas Terry.
Yep, ready.
All right, coming up, the expert panel looks at the big one from Talladega Sunday.
Hang on.
Count the crashes. Crew Chief Booty Barker's in the hot seat today, and we'll talk about the NASCAR Busch Series mayhem from Talladega Saturday. Preview Martinsville, answer your questions. It's all coming up.
Hang on.
Speed Channel's coverage of NASCAR inside Winston Cup is brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Pick Enterprise, we'll pick you up. And by the United States Air Force. Cross into the blue.
Check the headlines now on NASCAR Inside Winston Cup. Saturday at Talladega, NASCAR said no further penalties were forthcoming to Joe Gibbs Racing for the car they took from Tony Stewart's team at Texas. NASCAR also saying this week officials made a mistake when they got in the middle of the Matt Kenseth-Jeff Gordon racing to the caution flag incident at Texas. Said there were no plans to change the racing back to the caution procedure. Busch Series fines and suspensions. Driver Chad Blunt in that 19 car and his owner Todd Braun hit for 25 points. Patrick Donahue fined $5 grand, suspended for 2 races for improperly modified rear hubs. And that's Texas winner Joe Nemechek. His car owner, his wife Andrea, fined for 25 grand. Crew chief Eric Phillips fined $5 grand, suspended 2 races for his car's left front spring not meeting the evenly spaced coil rule from Texas. Let's see. Kurt Busch won Saturday's IROC race at Talladega, and we discuss some of those headlines now with our expert panel. Seems like the fact that no further penalties were forthcoming on the 20 team caught a lot of people by surprise at Talladega. I think they expected something to come out of that more than just taking the car.
What did you think?
I thought it was pretty odd that it sounds to me like they say they're going to keep the car, and if they do return it, it won't be in the same state as what they took it in. So I think that's pretty wild.
That's a pretty big penalty, getting your car taken. I thought that was all that would come from that. It was my opinion from the beginning.
Okay. How about the Texas caution flag situation? Mike Helton said that NASCAR basically just made a mistake getting in the middle of that. You can't change who's leading the race. The start-finish line's where you, like, whoever goes across the start-finish line. So it'll go smoothly from now on, I suppose.
It's all good.
Mike said that NASCAR has no present plans to change the racing back to the caution flag procedure because the technology doesn't exist to allow a proper freezing of the field at the instant of a caution flag at this point.
Well, they could just go back a lap. I meant to have that, but
But then you might get into a goofy thing like happened to the Formula One race this weekend. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Or even the Indy 500. Remember that a couple of years ago?
Well, they tried to freeze the field. They didn't go back a lap, and that's where they got in trouble. And
But going back a lap would be disappointing if a guy worked so hard to pass a guy, and then he made the pass, but then it doesn't count.
But I guess if that's what the rules are, is what they are. I mean, so if they change it to back a lap, then that's what it is. And if they leave it to race the start and finish line, that's what it is. So you just deal with it.
I think the biggest story to me in all of this was Mike Helton being nice enough to come out and say, look, you know, we made the wrong call. We're going to keep everything the way it is and just go from that. I think that was pretty big of Mike Helton.
That's what we all like about that's what we like about Mike. You know, he's fair. He tries to do what's right, and I don't remember making many mistakes along the way, if any. And when he makes one, he's man enough to say, hey, that wasn't what we needed to do, and that lets you know as you go forward, you know, where you stand.
It's what you have to do. If you're the referee and you make a mistake, and you know, you just have to come out and say, okay, that one's on me. We'll try and do better next time.
And at times it's wish like, okay, let's take a couple minutes, let's look at this and let's fix it now, because at times they'll say, you know, well, we'll look at it and fix it after the race. Well, it's too late. Can't do anything after the race about it.
And by the way, just in case you're not familiar with what happened in the Formula One race, they had a wreck, brought out the red flag, and Formula One rules say when the red flag comes out after 3/4 distance in the race, that's it, the race is over. And you go back to the running order 2 laps prior to the red flag to establish the finishing order. Well, between that point and when the red flag was thrown, there was a change for the lead.
Yeah, and it was the dominant car. Yeah. Giancarlo Fisichella,
very good,
was driving Eddie Jordan's little hot rod, and he made a dominant pass, and he was gone. He had never won a race before, and Eddie hadn't won one in 100 years. It was his 200th race. I mean, I was sitting there last night. I was so mad. And they said, okay, red flag, because it was a terrible crash.
Then he caught fire.
And then they said, okay, that's it. It's 3/4 away. But we go back 2 laps before.
Yeah.
And those.
So you folks at home that think NASCAR rules are a little goofy sometimes, you don't understand this? You ought to watch Formula One race.
But they got to go by the book. That's what the book says. So.
I didn't know what happened, and I didn't watch it until midnight last night, and I couldn't go to sleep. I was just sitting there.
Yeah. Me too. I was up late last night. I think it was from holding steering wheel like this all day long.
Trying to work the kinks out and get
trying to relax.
Part 151 of these sporting regulations or something like that.
Wow, could you believe all that?
Yeah, it was
Did
wild.
you see Eddie Jordan?
I did. I felt for him.
I do. He's so cool.
Yeah. All right. Want to back on NASCAR stuff now?
Let's go for it. What are we going to review
Up next, our expert panel will review Sunday's Talladega race, the Aaron's 499. First, the Bud Pole Award update. Jeremy Mayfield, fastest in Friday qualifying. 7th career Bud Pole Award for Jeremy.
You know, we shuffled in and out of them a little bit and broke them up and got them running side by side, and that was good. I mean, to keep them from working together is probably what give everybody else in the deal a chance, and maybe why me and Kevin worked together, because RCR and DEI's worked with each other in the past off the racetrack building race cars, and maybe he was the only thing I had closest to a teammate out there. So it was a pretty good deal. It was real exciting. 4 in a row, ain't nobody done it, and I feel real privileged. If I never win another race here again, this is a big deal to me.
Junior talking about a variety of topics after scoring the win in Sunday's Aaron's 499 at Talladega. We are here to review the event now with our expert panel, Michael Waltrip, Johnny Benson, and Kenny Wallace. You know, one of these days, we're just going to make a list of the different things that get talked about during the commercial breaks here, because we just run the gamut all over the world.
Maybe I ought to not do that.
We were just talking about Pearl Jam.
We had Pearl Jam.
Because we've seen
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Red Hot Chili Peppers are from his hometown.
Yeah, they're right up in that area.
Yeah. Okay.
Jeremy spoken, and because we've seen Jeremy Mayfield's name, so I said, whatever happened to Pearl Jam?
All because of that.
And you sang what song?
Oh, where could my baby be?
Okay.
Lord took her away from me.
We move on now to the race summary from Sunday's event. I told you, it goes all over the place. Let's see. 17 on the lead lap at the finish, and only 9 failed to be around at the checkers, despite the 27 involved in the big wreck early in the race. And let's, you know, yeah, was that your cell phone in the microphone?
I just turned it off. I'm sorry.
Thank you. We appreciate that. You know, at Daytona and Talladega races, there's like a progression of conversations through the weekend. You get there Friday morning, everybody's talking about the tech line. Who's getting through, who's having a cut on their cars. You get Friday practice, it's who got drafting help and setting their fast lap on the practice chart. Then from Saturday morning on, it's all about the big one. Will it happen? When will it happen? How many people will be involved? Well, the answers to that on Sunday were lap 4, 27 cars, and it was ugly.
Big crash. Obviously, they had one just like it on Saturday, in case you missed this one.
Oh, we'll see that one later.
Yeah.
And for the first time in a year, you know, nobody was at fault in this wreck
Or the other one.
or your race on Saturday. There's the Stacker 2 Dodge right in the middle.
How'd you get through that?
Just chilled, didn't you, Kenny?
I was lucky.
Yeah, I mean, there's just nowhere to go, and there's a lot of fluid on the racetrack, and it's so hard to stop when you're going that fast, especially when a guy up near the front has a tire problem of some sort. So
Here we are in Rusty's car.
pretty tough.
Crunch and punch.
Bam.
Oh.
And
Watch where Rusty goes.
check out Ryan's tire.
Gosh.
Boy, that was scary.
They hit a car in the parking lot.
Did it?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, I read it in the paper.
I know they talked about the tethers, you know, trying to keep some of that stuff on there, which we do use.
And which
But-
usually works. Check out Junior here as
Watch
he
this.
works his way through.
Quiet on the set.
Gets on the back of, gets in the back of Jeff there.
But that's it. I mean,
Now this thing will clear.
Jeff ends up being wrecked. Junior goes on to win the race.
Look, Jeff's not wrecked there though.
No, he's
Bounce
not.
off, Kenny.
Yeah, when
Little
did the
bounce
30
off.
car get wrecked? Must have been up in there somewhere.
Bet you're right.
So a tire went into the parking lot.
And hit a car.
That's incredible.
You start a race at Talladega, are you just resigned to the fact that you've got a 50-50 chance of being in that?
You know, I never even thought about it. I mean, I never even worry about it because it either is or it isn't. And if you spend a lot of time worrying about it, then what good have you done? You know, you're either going to get in a wreck or you ain't. And so I don't think about it.
I felt good about going to the race thinking that, you know, we saw the incident that happened in the bush deal, which, you know, is not a driver's problem. But I thought, you know, I think everybody's paid attention to that and they're just going to be smooth and be all right. And there again, it's nothing that Ryan did that
Makes you feel a little bit better.
made you feel, because I was mad at first. I thought, man, 4th lap, and then somebody said, well, he had a tire issue. So then it's like, not that it's any better or okay, but it's like, well, I think everybody was just being all right. It's just some incidents you're not going to be able to. outside our control.
Yeah, I'm like Mikey. I think, you know, what happens is throughout your career, you learn a lot of things. If you think you're going to wreck, then most likely you wreck. You go into Talladega, Daytona, just race and see what happens.
So Junior makes something like 11 pit stops under the caution for the cleanup and the big wreck to repair the damage. And they did an incredible job getting this thing patched up.
They did.
This was a championship team effort.
Yes, excellent observation.
Well, that's what you would have said.
And like,
I
like
learned
say,
that from you.
The damage
See,
is not
Yes.
huge, but it's something they know that they have to fix this thing.
Look how
see
weak
them
the
there.
nose is.
You could see them there getting a measurement so they could take a little bit of time, make a piece to go on there.
So Junior restarts at the rear of the 26 remaining cars, but he doesn't stay there for long, which was, again, with a damaged car, pretty impressive. Now, this is Mikey here taking the lead, lap 20.
You guys are 3 wide. Middle line has no help, back to 2.
Yeah, I
Got
felt
the
real
23
good
up
about
top
our
with the
car
help.
after practice on Saturday. Slugger and the boys just did a good job with the springs and shocks. We got it, you know, driving good, and the gearing that we chose, Richie Gilmore and the guys with the engines, they just gave me a car I felt real confident I could win this race with.
And you see Junior's already up to third there from the back of the 26 car line. So damaged and all, he didn't stay back there for long. Broader question, Junior's car, Matt Kenseth's car, Greg Biffle's car, all patched up, taped, little pieces of metal here and there, and they were all strong. How surprised were you that beaten up cars were aerodynamic enough still to get up there and race?
Well, I think that, you know, as long as you're in a draft and you have somebody helping you, it's not such a big deal. Dale and those guys did an excellent job on the front of their car, so probably when they got all said and done, there was no disadvantage there. But some of the other guys, yeah, you see patches all over, and it's like, well, they're not going to be able to lead, but they'll be able to at least stay in a draft and be up there.
Biffle was the one that surprised me. His
That
car
was-
was
yeah,
tore
his
all
was
to
tore
pieces,
up.
and he was all up in the middle of everybody. But
Yeah.
he, like Johnny said, he was following cars, and it was torn up just enough to where he wouldn't want to lead, but to follow, he had a really good chance to keep up.
We'll get back to Junior's story momentarily. We saw Mikey take the lead at lap 20. He would stay in the hunt through a couple of debris cautions, but then at lap 84, back in traffic, Mikey is the victim of a squeeze play in turn 3.
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen it. Jeff got on the inside of me, wasn't any big deal, but then Mike Wallace just turned really, just didn't know I was there, I guess, and spun me out. But fortunately, didn't hit too hard, and the guys were able to fix it to where I could keep running. You can see there, Jeff and I are pretty low, and give Jeff a little bit of room, and then Mike goes down a little bit more than I thought he was, and you know, we just kind of all came together.
Caught Jeremy on the way up the hill. Fortunately, he didn't get hit by anybody either. But Mikey's chance to win is done at that point, which is too bad. Shortly after the restart from that caution, more trouble, this time in the tri-oval. Greg Biffle, Kurt Busch, Tony Stewart, very top of the screen.
Yeah, see, Tony and Kurt were kind of getting into it after the race. They're having a little bit of discussion, but at that point in time, I don't know if you know, Kurt went into a hole there.
That wasn't there.
That wasn't there, and then of course once they got hooked there, it was just, you know, you could see the trouble coming.
There were a handful of cars that were determined to be 3 wide all day long. And as good as a friend I am with Kurt Busch, every time Kurt could see 3 wide, he would go for it. And right there what happened, he was going for it, and it closed up on him. You can see his left front was on the right rear of the 16 car.
And this was the aforementioned discussion.
Watch what Kurt does with his water bottle. This is funny.
That was great.
Exclamation point, end of conversation. Okay, next topic, the out-of-bounds line. Steve Park, who had been having a great race. Rear spoiler, what, the braces broke on his car?
Mm-hmm. And they made him fix them under caution and wouldn't allow him to fix them in and out, which was unfair. I don't understand that call at all. Mike, the 4 car, Skinner, he ran the whole last half of the race without any spoiler braces on his car. NASCAR should have let Steve come in, get his spoiler fixed under the caution, and not make him lose laps. I don't understand that. But then they got the spoiler braced up and beat up, and he was back on the road again.
Well, you know, this is the first time I've heard about that, and I drafted with somebody all day long that ran in the top 5 and had a broken spoiler brace. So I didn't know there was a rule of that.
Well, I didn't know. Steve, a car landed on, Ryan Newman landed on Steve's left rear, or excuse me, right rear, and tore his window out and broke his spoiler. Well, they patched it up and he went back to running, and Steve got the lead. Well, everybody started complaining about Steve's spoiler, so they come in and they beat the spoiler up, and NASCAR said you got to put the braces on it. And they didn't allow him to do it in a way that
didn't allow him to keep leaving pit road and coming back in to continue to make repairs so he could stay on the lead lap.
Yeah, that's what Steve told me. Now, if that's not correct, then I'm sorry.
but it's Mikey and Alan's show, from what I hear, and he can say what he wants.
That's what Steve said, so if you're mad about that. All right. But either way, there are cars out there without braces on them.
Steve's down a couple of laps at lap 98 when he gets penalized for going below the line. Looks like he's trying to get up to help Junior draft. I don't know.
He's not. Oh, there he's below the line. I was going to say, it wasn't like he was below the line. I guess they both should have probably come in based off if he get forced down there. I guess he started down there and then he just held him.
Yeah, I don't know what. I don't know. I don't know about that.
Okay, here, I'll do it for you. He's your teammate, but he shouldn't have done that.
No, he shouldn't have done that. And
he was below the yellow line.
And if you improve your position by going below the yellow line, you may be black flagged.
Right.
That's what they say in the driver's meeting.
Maybe there should be a yellow line then an orange line. And
a wall.
Yeah, put a wall there. That'll eliminate some things.
Like kind of volume, like when you go yellow, you're getting. Then when you go to orange and red, that's it. You know.
All right, up next, the frantic final laps where there was enough contact between cars. I thought I was watching Martinsville for a couple of minutes, not Talladega. We'll be back.
Just spit it right out, Alan.
I know it.
He was waving me on, and I pushed him by the 17, and I'm thinking, man, if I can just sit right here, then the 29 had such a good run, and so, man, I'm going to fall back to 10th, and then we were just lucky to get enough in line. Brett did a great job spotting it. I'm just so proud of these Robert Yates guys and this young race team, and I think we've got bright future ahead of us, and looking forward to the rest of the races.
It's the greatest time ever to be in Winston Cup racing. I said it after we won Darlington. I said it the year before and the year before. It's really a wonderful time. But when you get to Talladega, it's all about teammates. And I'll tell you what, next week, teammate means nothing, and I can't wait to get there.
We had a good run and we had a good finish. We've had good cars the past 3 or 4 weeks, and we haven't finished near as good as our cars. And today our car really wasn't a 5th place car, but we came home 5th, so we'll take it.
Texas Terry finishing in the top 5 at Talladega Sunday. We continue on NASCAR Inside Winston Cup, reviewing the Aaron's 499 with Michael Waltrip, Johnny Benson, and Kenny Wallace. We're now past everything in the race that would bring out a caution flag. 3 crashes, 3 debris cautions, the last of which came at lap 132 of 188. We get to the final 30 laps of the race and the final pit stops, coming with 30 and 28 laps to go for the leaders under green.
You see, all the guys, obviously, with the smaller fuel cell, you got to come in. But what makes you think that there was not going to be another caution with 30 laps to go?
Well, there's nothing made me think.
Oh, okay.
I just said in our review, we're now past all of that.
Yeah, the pit stop action on pit road is cool. Everybody does a nice job getting in and out. The field came in 2 separate waves, so therefore there wasn't a whole lot of congestion on pit road. So pretty good pit stop action here. You can see Ward there just getting
He had
gas.
8 seconds worth of gas. I just counted it.
Talk me through the driver's role in a timed pit stop here. You're just sitting here and you're anxious to go, and you're ready to leave.
Yeah, my crew chief says we need 3 seconds worth of gas. So when I come to a stop, he goes 1, 2, 3, go, 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 go. Well, so that's the way it works.
Yeah,
that's a great description of it, Kenny. Exactly the way it works at my place, too.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to start counting the minute he hits that gas can in there, and he's going to leave it there until he's far gone.
Driver can't see, so you just rely on what they tell you.
I was watching Ward trying to keep from, the momentum going. He was creeping forward to help get a run out, but he was getting toward the front line of that box, and they had to stop him, and so that maybe cost him a split second there. The last 20 laps of the race Sunday, they were breathtaking. I mean, there were people bouncing off each other and just rooting and gouging for position at 190 miles an hour. While we look at some of that action, I'd like your insights into how tense you are behind the wheel with all the people bouncing off each other. Watch this move from Junior here coming up when Jimmy Johnson moves up to block him. Left turn.
Well, my opinion is that, and I think my partners agree with me, we've got mirrors on the left sides of these cars. I would never have made a move like that if I didn't have that mirror and know I was clear.
The cool thing about the cars at Talladega and Daytona both is NASCAR has them so stable that you feel confident that if you jerk the wheel to the left like that, make a move like that, you won't spin out. So the drivers, it's cool because the drivers think they can make those moves. Then it's not so cool sometimes because they get a little, we get a little over aggressive. You can see here Ricky and Junior bouncing off each other.
I burped the gas on that one.
That was close.
I was like, whoa.
That's one of those, you sit there and you're watching and you're going, ooh, 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 ooh.
Easy.
The big ooh factor. Junior talked in Victory Lane about how you draft off the sides of cars now.
We've always done that. It's just a way. His dad was the first person I think that discovered it. It's just a way to, you pull up alongside a guy and you can slow his momentum down, plus it rockets you ahead as you come off of them. And also, when there's two cars and you can get, and when you can aggressively drive to the middle, you can shoot up through there. Now, if you get put to the middle, your momentum's gone and you go back. But if you can work your way to the middle with an aggressive move, there's a lot of speed there too. There's a lot of little intricacies that go into drafting, and Junior's pretty much got them all figured out.
Yeah, I guess. Now one of our favorite parts of the program, Mikey, the Enterprise Turning Point.
Oh, you know why? Because the right car can make all the difference. And also, did you know that it was the Aaron's $4.99 because we're leasing quality products $4.99 a month at Aaron's? Go ahead.
We actually were told that last week, I think.
Yeah. Has that ship already sailed? My fault.
That's okay.
Oh, well.
I'm sure it didn't hurt you to get it in again. With 4 laps to go, Junior takes the run at Matt Kenseth, or gets a run at Matt Kenseth and Jimmy Johnson. Heading into turn 3, the yellow out-of-bounds line comes into play.
You can see Junior's getting a tremendous push, and Matt was going laterally instead of forward, and Junior got a huge push from the 39, 38, whatever his number is, and grabbed the lead.
That was a legal move.
That car was he was even with Matt. If you watch here, before he ever goes under the line, you can see right there, they're even, and he just bailed out. He probably wouldn't even had to, but he just bailed out to keep from causing a wreck.
Those are one of the deals there where had Junior stayed there and Matt would have continued to come down, there'd have been a wreck. And this discussion goes on and on, saying, okay, what's going to be okay to go below that line? Well, going below that line to avoid a big deal, I think should be okay. But
especially he had him passed. You know, he was all the way. They were even when he went under. So I think it was a great no call on NASCAR's part, just to say, you know, that was fine. Now, if you go under the line or get forced under the line,
before you get to him,
or you're just up on the rear quarter, you got to back out. But he was dead even and dove down just to avoid from having contact.
So everybody's good no call.
The three of us. I imagine Matt might think differently.
Yeah,
my opinion is this.
Let's hear it.
Here's my opinion.
You don't have to say all that.
Here's my opinion. Right, well, you're right. If you turn left before you get to his rear bumper and you're under the yellow line, you complete the pass, and that's illegal. He was side by side with him.
Right.
Went underneath the yellow line, come back up. So
there you have it.
Good no call. Coming to the white flag now, Jimmy Johnson comes across the bow of another car.
Wow. Who would that be?
Whose car would that be? It's a yellow one.
It's a Stacker 2 dives, ladies and gentlemen. And right there, I run out of gas.
Somehow doesn't hit anyone or anything, and the race stays green for the last lap, but Kevin Harvick's not able to mount a charge on Junior and make any kind of a bid for the win.
No, Junior and those guys in the 15 and that, their stuff is so good. I mean, we saw that one time there, Junior's on the outside by himself making passes, so their stuff's good.
Every day.
You don't see that every day, so there's no getting around him unless you had a lot of help, and he was going to make that thing pretty wide anyhow.
While we watch the rest of this winning lap here, thoughts on anything you'd like to be looked at before the next Daytona or Talladega race where the rules package is concerned, or are you all pretty comfortable with where things are at right now?
I thought it was a great race. I don't think anything should change.
I think that's a great statement that Kenny made, that we're able to leave a race like Talladega and say that. I mean, what else are you going to do? It is what it is with these plates, and we saw a very competitive race. We lost half the field in a wreck, but yet saw some of the most exciting racing ever in the last 20 laps. That's great for the sport, great for the 100,000 people that were there watching and all the folks at home watching on TV.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. becomes the first man to win 4 straight Talladega races. Incredible. 17th place, Kenny Wallace, last on the lead lap. A lot of folks came back from the early big wreck to run some laps later and try and gain some spots. They are all from this part of the field on down. So that's how it was in the Aaron's 499. When we come back, time for the hot seat. He has been called Robert. I've heard him called Robin. We all know him as Booty. Crew Chief Booty Barker is next. We'll be back. Time for the hot seat now. After blitzing the NASCAR Busch Series field with Scott Wimmer last season, he's a rookie Winston Cup crew chief with Dave Blaney in 2003. Now joining us, lead man for the Jasper Engines and Transmissions Ford, Booty Barker. How are you?
I'm good. Good to be here.
Kenny likes to use his hands a lot. You notice that?
That's all right.
Booty's a good guy. I like him.
No,
He's one of the nicest guys in the garage area.
Yeah.
Plus, he's real smart on chassis.
His opinion of you may change after the next 15 minutes or so. But let's see. I turn you over for questioning to our esteemed panel.
All right. Shoot.
Where'd you come from? Tell us a little bit about your background and how you got to this point. I know last year was big on putting you on the map with Wimmer and what he was able to accomplish, but what went on before that?
What went on? A lot of stuff, really. Well, let's make it concise. I was in college, went to work with Ashton Lewis on his late model. As soon as I graduated, packed up my car, went to Charlotte, knocked on doors. Mike Beam gave me a job sweeping floors.
Wow.
Left there, went to Kurt Rohrig's. Left there, went to Bill Davis's building shocks. Left there, went to Jeff Gordon's. Left there, went back to Bill Davis's as crew chief. Left there, and now I'm with Dave Blaney, Jasper Motorsports.
So you literally...
You started sweeping floors?
Yeah.
Cleaning toilets. Mike Beam, first thing he told me is, you're going to clean the toilet every evening. But I'm thankful for it. But that was the first thing he told me. So.
Sound like a typical career path to me. When they talk about sweeping the floors, they're not kidding.
I have one more question. Was your goal to be crew chief, or did you have a goal?
My first goal, of course, was just to get in.
Right.
Because we all know how hard it is just to get in the door with so many people trying. So once I got in, it didn't take me long to figure out, other than the driver, who the man was. So I believe it didn't take long. So that's what I figured I wanted to do.
I worked with you a little bit at Rourke's on the trucks and things of this nature, and then of course you moved into Busch, and which obviously is probably a sizable jump. But how much of a jump is it going from a Busch crew chief to the Winston Cup side?
I guess the technique, or whatever you call it, the way you go about it, I do it the same. But you're racing against y'all all the time. It's no weaknesses in the Winston Cup. No freebies, instead of 10 good cars. Like you last year, I remember you could have a bad car a bad day and still finish top 5.
Right, exactly.
Just on your driving ability, you can't do that here.
Right.
So that's the big difference.
Was it tough to pack up and? It's your turn.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Was it? I'm sorry.
No, really. You're my friend, Mike.
Was it hard to leave Bill Davis and Scott Wimmer for the Cup, or was it easy because it was a chance to get with a top line team in Winston Cup?
It was hard, but
I didn't care for it. I didn't want you to leave. But
you have to honestly. I mean, you have to. The way I look at it, you have to strike while the iron is hot.
Right.
Make
hay while the sun shines, my daddy used to say.
That's right. It was not going to get any better for me at that point, honestly. We had a great end of the season and all that good stuff, and and a great opportunity come up. So it may not ever come again. So I had to make it happen.
No.
Okay, now me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Okay, you've explained your process of how you got to be a Winston Cup crew chief. Now, I kind of got to know you when you were at Jeff Gordon's team, Hendrick Racing. When you were at that race team, were there things there that really helped you propel? I mean, because when you came to Bill Davis Racing as a crew chief for the Busch team, I mean, you were really successful. Were there things that you learned?
Well, we weren't really successful right in the beginning, if you remember, Kenny. We struggled top 20, and then we got to 15th, and it reached a point, I believe, in the first 3 quarters of my first year as crew chief where we said, well, look, we're not getting it done here. So I had to make some changes. I knew what it took to win when we were with Jeff over there, and I knew we weren't there.
So what you just said, when you were at Hendrick Racing, you were with Jeff Gordon, a winning organization. There were things there that you said that, well, we're not doing those things, so we need to do differently because you learned it there.
Yeah, absolutely. You can have, I guess everybody knows this, you just can have no weaknesses. Or either if you have any weaknesses, you better have a strong point that's so strong it overcomes them, you know. And Jeff Gordon makes up for a lot of that, let's say, on that point. But we just had some weaknesses, and we had some, so we just restructured. Well, not really restructured. We just, our team, we just took a different look at it and took a different path, and it worked out. But it was close. I'm sure BD wanted to fire me sometime.
Four wins at the end of the year. That was great.
All right, going to take a commercial break here. Booty Bark is with us in the hot seat on NASCAR Inside Winston Cup Sunday. Winston Cup racing from Martinsville on Fox. Bobby Labonte, the defending champion. A little action-packed bull ring racing for you. Sunday, 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 Pacific on Fox. Our Busch Series update is brought to you by Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. Head for the mountains of Busch. Dale Earnhardt Jr., his car was kind of good to the last drop on Saturday. Eked out a victory on fumes. Even needed a push to reach victory lane. We look at the Aaron's 312 now with our expert panel, plus our hot seat guest, Booty Barker. Didn't get too far into this one when things got ugly. How about fourth place Johnny Sauter triggering the 21-car wreck?
Ugh.
Wow.
That's about $1 million worth of stuff.
That's a melee.
It is $1 million worth of stuff.
And watch the guy in the way in the back.
He's coming. There he goes.
Accident's over. Yeah.
We're up top here?
Yeah. And he
He's
got
already
there.
in it. He's already in it.
Oh, okay.
That's what makes it tough. I mean, you've got to know that that's happening, and somebody's got to be telling you, please stop.
I tell you what, now that was a wreck.
Yeah,
you can hear the tire.
Yeah. This is the first time I've seen it.
Oh, I felt so bad for Johnny. I mean, after what he went through last year at Talladega, you know, wasn't even like somebody made a mistake.
No, I mean, he didn't make any mistakes here.
Yeah.
I mean, just tire come apart on him, and he spun, and he tried to go to the infield, but unfortunately, at this point in time, the car's going to come back up on a racetrack, and they actually started wrecking right behind him. So when he slowed up, the car behind him got hit.
Watch this. They're still piling into the wreck.
Yeah, that one there was.
Oh, no.
That was the one that.
hauling the mail.
Yeah.
That one should have been looked at.
Casey Kane.
Maybe had a little small discussion with him.
Do you know that it's the Aaron's 312 because it's 3 great reasons to buy? 1, guaranteed lowest price. 2, everyone's pre-approved. And 3, 12 months to buy.
He's a great sponsor.
Get that in there.
I bet you didn't know that, did you?
Well, he's good.
All right. The field has been thinned considerably now. The number of potential challengers to the strong cars of Joe Nemechek and Dale Earnhardt Jr. are down to a pretty limited few. So it's tough to pass. Jr. doesn't have a lot of help, so he gets it done on pit road.
The only way
caution for lap 57, for debris at lap 57. Sorry, Mike.
The only way you're going to pass a car like Joe Nemechek's or Dale Jr.'s is to do it while pitting.
How many laps did he go on tires? Do y'all know?
Well, the pit before that, he came in and put on 4. Joe only put on 2. And then so at the end of the race, I think he already had it figured that I'm not going to get any tires, I'm going to get gas. Joe, I think, had to get some tires.
Left sides.
And left sides, and that's all it took.
77 tires, I believe, was the number.
Yeah. We pitted the Aaron's Dream Machine here to top off with fuel so we could go all the way. And it looked like that was going to help us to a top 2 or 3 finish.
Well, it may have, but the caution come out there with, what, a couple laps to go, and
yeah, people were able to coast home.
Saved him.
Coast it.
I tell you what, after looking at the Winston Cup winnings, that kind of rough looking there, isn't it?
Well, y'all were asking why I went to Cup. We finished, 23rd and made $98,000, and Michael here finished 7th and made 19. I mean,
there you go.
It might have a little bit to do with it.
What about Tina Gordon?
Nice job by
Tina. Good job, Tina Gordon.
We're overtime. We'll be back.
Here we go.
This promotional announcement late night Monday inside the NASCAR Busch Series. We will look at the race from Talladega. Joe Gibbs will talk with us about his NASCAR Busch Series effort and some of the issues facing the series. And our Back in the Day feature will spotlight one John Benson Jr. Ooh. 11 o'clock Eastern, Monday, 7 Eastern, Wednesday here on Speed. Time for Speed Fan Q&A, your weekly topics for our panel. This one comes from Curtis Coons, who wants to know, during practice, is there a limit on the number of cars allowed to be on the track at one time? Says he was watching Texas practice. There were people lined up on pit road and other people going by him to go out onto the racetrack. Survey says
at the start of the practice, they only allow 25 cars on the track, and they hold you until some cars start to come in and off, and by then, you only have about 20 cars on the track usually then, so they don't stop you.
Next question. Lisa Walter wants to know, why do you call Kenny Wallace Herman? Is that his real name or his nickname?
We can ask the source.
I got the nickname Herman from being diagnosed really hyperactive. They put me on Ritalin when I was in about the fifth grade.
No.
And a guy named Bob Miller, who was a big German man, had a big crew cut. He ran one of the divisions, Central Auto Racing Association in St. Louis, and he used to put me in a headlock and give me a Dutch rub, and he'd call me, oh, Herman the German. It was that man that nicknamed me Herman the German.
They took you off, didn't they?
Yeah.
My mom didn't like me being on Ritalin because I was so quiet. It was like this. And she's like, where'd my Kenny go? I'm like, we're in this pill bottle here, Mom.
If you've got a question you'd like to ask our panel, here's how you get it to us.
To submit your questions, visit speedtv.com. Go to the program section and look for Inside Winston Cup.
You can help decide who wins the prestigious Driver of the Year award, along with the distinguished media panel. Log on to speedtv.com. Cast your vote among this quarter's nominees. Promotional announcements now. Trackside, Friday night, Martinsville. Wind Tunnel, late night Friday with Double D. Victory Lane, the Martinsville wrap-up on Sunday night. And I saw this, I don't know, a week ago or so when there was no Formula One race.
So pretty cool.
Yeah, it's excellent. Coming up next here on Speed. Check it out. Champions forever in Formula One drivers. All right, Martinsville preview. Running late. Let's go. High-speed lowdown. Tight little flat bull ring.
It's a great place to be running late because it only takes about 15 seconds to get around it.
We're actually going to show 2 laps.
Oh, really?
So fast.
All right. Tell them about it, Kenny. Coming off turn 2, 4 here, going down in turn 1.
Yeah, if you arc out, there's a bump right there. You want to run right about, well, you can see. Well, now they reground the racetrack, okay? So the bottom was not the best the last time there. Let's look and see what the black is. See, now usually you're down on the curve, okay? So that has changed a little bit. But because my brother Rusty convinced the racetrack to put grooves in it, it made the track slippery. So see how white it is there?
So what have we heard
slow.
from people who've been up there to test?
Yeah. What have we heard about testing up there, guys?
Park tested. He said you could run low again more. So I think it's changed a little bit.
So
Starting to smoothen out.
So all the fans need to pay attention to that. We're trying to get the bottom back working.
Oh, the 2 grooves from last time was fine. You run the bottom on new tires and run up. I mean, so that part was good for the racing.
Johnny almost won.
It's close.
But no cigar.
No cigar.
I still don't like the
But you get that win. You got that win back a couple weeks later, so that's you know.
Would you rather be at Talladega?
Huh?
Or would you rather be at Talladega?
Not based off yesterday.
That's
A very succinct question.
And a very succinct answer.
What about Martinsville from a crew chief's perspective? Tough place.
Don't get loose in, turn good in the middle, tremendous forward bite. Now how you do it, I don't know.
That's what you want.
He's right, though. That's what I want.
Okay, here we go. NASCAR's top 10 plus a bunch more for us. Matt Kenseth's lead was 155 before Talladega. It's 129 now, but a new second-place man is in the hunt.
Where I'm at, 2 DNFs didn't help me.
Yeah.
23rd, John.
See, we're 20th, but we're close. We're gonna make a run.
Where's Kenny?
28th, and I would have been 26th, but we're 28th. But I'm okay. I'm in good shape.
But you're out of time. We'll be back.
Speed Channel's coverage of NASCAR Inside Winston Cup is brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Call 1-800-RENT-A-CAR. Take Enterprise, we'll pick you up. And by Beechwood Aged Budweiser, with a crisp, clean, and refreshing taste known only to the king of beers.
Here's the programming schedule for the weekend. All those topics we discussed during commercials. Don't forget the Martinsville Truck Race is on Speed on Saturday. Got the Busch Series race from Nashville. Also Saturday on FX. And then the Winston Cup to the race on Sunday and Speed News and everything else.
You know what we're going to do?
You got me with that one, Mike.
You know what we're going to do on MichaelWaltrip.com? We're going to play highlights of the commercials. I mean, of the time we're down when nobody's looking.
Cool.
Ooh, that'll be scary.
Yeah.
Won't that be fun?
Yep, we're going
Moody,
to
thank you for being here. We
Oh,
only got about
pleasure.
10 seconds, but
Oh, love to be with the guys.
I told you
See 'em
when
all
you
the
first
time.
came into the studio, I'm sorry, and
No,
Wasn't that bad?
still am.
Made it
Well, I
through.
guess I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do this week.
I guess not. We'll try and do this again next Monday.